Hey beautiful souls, it's Gina here. I'm currently on a courage rampage. Courage is my highest virtue, and I choose to live an intentional life. And so I am constantly asking myself, how will courage show up for me today? What will courage look like for me today? How will I demonstrate being courageous today? And one of the ways that I'm committed to showing up courageously is by deciding, making a decision for myself that it's okay to change my mind. Now, I am a fierce and stubborn Taurus woman with Sicilian and Greek roots, so I don't know if that means anything, but I've been told that it does. And I can be pretty committed to an idea or a belief system. I know this about myself. But one of the greatest freedoms and acts of courage for me is recognizing that it's okay for me to change my mind about anything. I can decide one day that I want one thing, and I can wake up the next day with a whole new level of awareness. And it could be an experience, it could be a person, it could be an insight. Here I am walking in this beautiful forest, and I'm getting insight after insight. So it could be anything that triggers a new level of awareness for me that says, hey, I feel differently now. And rather than judge myself and say, hey, you're being flippant, or you're not sticking to your ideals, or you're all over the place, I am choosing to look at my experience with honesty as much as I can. We always have blinders. We're missing things in our peripheral vision, but as much as I can, I'm trying to look at myself through the lens of clarity and honesty and compassion and say, Gina, you know what? You're allowed to freaking change your mind. You're allowed to change your mind. You can like red wine one day and white wine the next, or no wine the next. You can want to go and live on a sandy beach, and then you can change your mind and decide that you want to climb tall mountains. You can be a person who decides they want one kind of lifestyle, and you can change your mind and decide that that's no longer going to fulfill you or make you happy. You're allowed to change your mind. And it requires deep courage to allow yourself, give yourself the opportunity to do it without shame and without guilt and without judgment. One of the most beautiful parts of growing, perhaps one of the most, the greatest identifier, the greatest marker of the expansion of the soul, the growth of a spirit, is being very clear about what we want and what we will no longer tolerate, or what we no longer desire in our life. So many of us are living by desires that other people have planted in our minds, other ways of living that people have told us will make us happy, or is socially acceptable, or is what we should want. And how many of us come to a point in our lives, or many, many times in our lives, where we go, shit, I don't even think I want this. This isn't even what I want. And so I'm making this video to remind myself, because it's always first for me, myself, that it's okay to change my mind. And I'm inviting you to consider that, baby, it's okay to change your mind too. If you are living based on desires that are no longer true for you, that no longer support your growth or your happiness or your peace of mind, if you wake up on Monday wanting X and you wake up on Tuesday wanting Y, how about we refrain from judging ourselves And instead we get curious about it. And instead we say, what has happened? What has transpired for me to come to this new awareness that I want something different? And is it in fact what I really want? Check in with yourself. And if it is, no guilt, no shame, no apologies, no freaking explanation. You're allowed to change your mind. Loving you.